So first of all, I want to, as Evan already introduced me, I have two positions at Miami University. My primary, well, it's a 50-50. So I started out being a faculty member which is now a Department of Biology. We used to be zoology before we changed. And since 2017, I direct the Office of Research for Undergraduates on campus. Something that I might kind of ask people to, maybe this is not a trick question, but maybe you can put it in the chat, is my last name ends with an S. Okay, and so I've always been asked this question about why is it an S? And in fact, Alvaro will probably know why. Alvaro, you're banned from answering that question. And because I would always get questions about it. And I have even been told that I spell my name the wrong way. Okay, so I have to be mindful of the fact that, the United States is my adopted country, and I'm a minority here because of my skin color. But in my country of origin in India, I'm also a minority because I belong to a religious minority. I'm Catholic. I grew up Catholic. So there is no place that I am a majority, okay? Just so you know. So it's something that I have to deal with. I'm not perplexed by it. I don't let it, affect my development, my own development and my own professional development. So, all right. Okay, so I wanted to give you a sense for my educational journey. And all of my education was done in India. So I spent crisscrossing the Indian subcontinent. So down here is where I was born, the state of Goa in India. And then I went all the way here to this town in the state of Bihar, where I spent some of my formative years. So schooling was done there. And then I moved from there to a city in Gujarat, from where we went up further north. And this is because my dad's job was transferable. He worked for the Indian oil refineries. So wherever there were refineries, he would get transferred and we would go. Then I found myself coming back from up north to back to Goa to do my undergraduate education. I moved to back to the same city in Gujarat, where we had spent 1 year doing my master's, and then I moved to Mumbai, which is here, to do my PhD. And while I was doing my PhD, so my bachelor's was in chemistry and in microbiology, and my master's was in microbiology. And then for my PhD, I focused on developmental biology. One of the things I want you to the reason I show this map is because those of you who are aware, India is a country of many languages and cultures. And, I have pretty much crisscrossed most of the country here. And so each time you go to a different state, you're actually exposed to different cultures. And that has an upbringing on your sense of, identity, on, how you see things, how you see yourself within the world. And then these two arrows here that are pointing outwards are actually, while I was doing my PhD, I had the fortune of, spending time overseas. And this was because of a fabulous advisor that I had. And so he sent me on an exchange as an exchange student to the UK. And then later on, he also sent me to the US, and I spent about 4 or 5 months because, tickets, when you buy them, number one, they're expensive.
1 minute left, Dr. Fernandes.
I'm sorry?
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, I'm going to try. And so, so I had a lot of good experiences during my PhD going overseas. Now, during my postdoc, I had the opportunity to work with on a NASA project. And so, and later on, as a faculty member, I've been able to branch out into interests that I had of science education, retention, research administration. And one of the things I want to say is that, when you're charting a path, do things that you're passionate about. Be guided by curiosity. Don't do things out of fear. Pay attention to your values. And identify as many mentors as you can, because they are the ones that help launch you. They're the ones that help connect you. and focus on these transferability of skills that you have, because what you do during a PhD, the skills that you develop are relevant for jobs outside of academia. And so I'm going to finish off with this slide, and I have another slide, but that will be available to you. And I was very, very influenced by this book called Alternative Careers in Science. And it's about, what do you use your PhD for? Because there are more jobs, more PhDs than there are jobs in academia. And many, many moons ago, when I did my PhD, it was thought you had to go into academia. Well, this book has about 23 different careers. Okay, and I have listed them here, and it helps you to see how you can use your skills. For me, an eye-opener was when McKinsey and McKinsey Consulting came to campus when I was a postdoc at Yale, and they talked about all the skills that PhDs have that they can use. That was a huge, huge, huge eye-opener for me. And I spent time investigating these. In fact, before I applied and got my job here at Miami, I actually went to look at a job at Bayer, the pharmaceutical company, because they needed somebody for their science communication team, where you would interact with the researchers and then be able to go to conferences, be able to put the information out about the clinical trials. I found that to be fascinating. My mentor at the time didn't, but it was just my way of being able to look into these other careers. So I'm going to stop there because Evan gave me that warning. And I have a very fancy diagram here that was taken from ASCB, and which essentially says that 70% of PhDs do postdocs, but only 15% of postdocs get tenure track jobs. And that kind of accounts for only about 8% of PhDs being in academia. Therefore, being in, that book which said alternative careers, being in academia is alternative, the rest are mainstream. And I'll finish up there.
Thank you, Dr. Fernandes.